Welcome in to another episode of the Stat Line. I'm Jeff the Stat Guy. Tonight, we talking South Carolina Gamecocks going on the road to Death Valley, down to the Bayou, taking on the LSU Tigers at night. Woo! Boy, we're going to jump into this. I got a special guest with me tonight as well to help us out from the LSU side. And you already know, I keep some stats on deck. The stat of the week, we're going to put Shane Beamer's 4-2 head coaching record coming off a bye week to the test. We're getting into that and so much more right after this. Spin that intro.
And he's not had a pass. Look at this, fourth down. He's not had a snap. Here comes that pressure. Walks it up, looking for Kelly. Touchdown! Can you believe it?
All right. Welcome back. So look, it's LSU week. You already know, one name popped into my mind. We reached out. Of course, she said yes. So tonight we got the LSU fan, Jamie, in the building, joining us to break down South Carolina LSU. Jamie, how you doing tonight?
I'm very good. Thanks again for having me. I appreciate it.
I'm
excited. I leave in the morning to go to Baton Rouge. So
awesome. So you're going to be at the game?
Yeah, I'll be down there. My flight leaves at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. So I will be in Baton Rouge for this one.
So the big question for the South Carolina fans or other fan bases who haven't got to enjoy it, what makes Baton Rouge so special for night games?
I think it's just, so it's the South, right? And it's really hot in the South. And when it's during the day, a lot of people don't want to obviously be out in that sun for long periods of time. So not that attendance is bad or anything, but for night games, the whole state shows up. And it's lit from the morning until the night. And there's tailgates, there's parties, there's, gumbo and crawfish and all the good foods. And I personally think LSU tailgating is second to none. We go all out with all the food and just Death Valley at night just has that feel to it where, opponents walk in there and, it's a little intimidating to walk into that stadium with 110,000 purple and gold fans screaming and yelling and the lights and it's just it's like nothing else, honestly. It's one of the cathedrals of college football, right?
For sure. And I was definitely going to say that one thing, maybe there's some places that scenic wise, view wise can match y'all tailgating scene, but I do not trust anyone to outdrink LSU fans tailgating. I know they're gonna get started bright and early, and that place is for sure gonna be raucous come kickoff. I'm actually impressed that they've managed to work it out to where they can still make noise by the time this game kicks off.
It's part of the culture. That's just how it is. You grow up doing that, you grow into it, you're born and bred into that culture, basically. So it's just in our DNA, I guess, to be crazy. But we're crazy drunks, though. We're not I mean, some people could be belligerent, but for the most part, we're really fun, want to have a good time drunks, right?
Everything that I've heard from fan bases of other teams, even some of the rivals that y'all host, and how bitter some of that is that y'all's tailgating is just so fan friendly, where people walking by, here, have a beer, here, have some gumbo. And you just can't, that's what college football is all about. especially from the fan side of it, is coming together and enjoying that fellowship around something that we both are so super passionate about. Well,
Agreed.
so jumping into the game, we will start with the LSU offense. Obviously, coming into the season, you had Garrett Nussmeier, who was looked at as a potential number one NFL draft pick, potential Heisman front runner. What is it that you think has been the struggle of the LSU offense, if it's one thing, and is it something that can be fixed in a week, or is it going to take the rest of the year to kind of right the ship?
So I think it's a twofold issue, right? I think so. We had heard rumblings that Garrett had an injury in camp, right? Fall camp, but everything was so hush hush and they really shut that down. But if you notice, like, he just doesn't ever look comfortable in the pocket. And now, of course, Nussmeier says he's good, or he was dealing with something, but he's good. And BK says there's nothing wrong with Nussmeier, but we can all see the difference as fans, right? So we all know something is going on with him, which has dramatically lessened his ability to throw that deep ball. And even just throws that he was making last year, he's not making this year. The second part of this is the line. We lost a ton of talent on our O line to the draft. Will Anderson and Emory Jones and all those guys played as such a cohesive unit for so long that they were just so much better in like pass protection and things like that. And this year the line is young. They haven't played together very much. They haven't really gelled. I think that they're getting better, but then you have guys that have been injured now. So now you have to plug in different pieces again. So there's not been a good continuity on the line, which I think is what is hindering their progression, honestly. And that's just my personal feeling, is what is actually going on, is that line is just not gelling and Nussmeier is not comfortable.
Yeah, no, and that's obviously you lose four starters off of that team.
Yeah.
Um, two NFL first, I believe both of them went in the first round. I know obviously Campbell went super high. I mean, he was like top five
Yeah,
pick,
Campbell
but
was, yeah, he went to
you,
the Pats. So yeah.
you lose all that talent, you replace
Yeah.
your O line. And then on top of that, with the struggles of running the football as well,
Hmm.
I know from the South Carolina side of things, our run defense is probably the weakest part of our defense. Is what's the update on Caden Durham? Is he expected back this week, or is he still
He is.
questionable out?
He is expected to play, as far as I'm aware. He will play. I will say though, I have been very impressed with Harlem Berry. When he has come in and gotten his shot, he is very, very good. He has very good balance. He has very good vision. He is a bruiser, and so is Caleb. I'm not taking anything away from, or Caden, sorry, not Caleb. There's a Caden and a Caleb Jackson on our team, so it's like the mind gets all crossed. But anyway, I love Caden Durham. I love him to death. I do think that Harlem Berry gives you a different feel, a different look. He's a little quicker. He's a little quicker on his cuts. Um, I just really think that they should use them more in tandem. And I think the speed of Barry personally would help the O line a lot. Just to have a different, because they did seem to play a little bit better the last game, at even though we lost at Ole Miss, they seemed to play a little bit better when Barry was in. But I agree with you. The run game has been an issue, not just this season. The run game's been an issue for, since Jaden Daniels left.
Right. And so that's going to be, I think for me, that's the biggest thing to look for is going to be who wins that battle
Hmm.
of two teams in their struggles. Will LSU get the run game going, which they did in this matchup a year ago
Hmm.
with Caden Durham busting out onto the scene, having over 100 yards against us last year? Or do we continue to struggle against the run? South Carolina gives up like 144 yards a game. We can't get off the field on third downs. It's an epidemic of our struggles defensively revolve
Yeah.
around us not being able to stop the run. And so that's going to kind of be the big picture of who's going to kind of get some room offensively is going to be what we do against stopping that run, or can y'all get the run game going? Because
Yeah.
I think it does kind of go into, if y'all can get the run game going, I think it gets Garrett a little bit more comfortable to
It
where
does.
it opens up the passing game
Hmm.
instead of him like, well, we can't run, it's all on my shoulders. I have to do all this myself.
Yeah, and that's when he
So,
forces it. That's
right.
absolutely when he starts forcing it.
And
Yeah.
so on the other side of the coin, while South Carolina's offense has not looked the best this year, they still have the one they refer to as La Heisman with Superman, the one and only LaNorris Sellers. What are your expectations for getting to see him live and in person
I'm
Saturday night?
excited. I love LaNorris Sellers. I think watching the SEC documentary on Netflix, so you got to see a different side of him and like all the things that he's been through and how he's persevered through all of that. And I have a lot of respect for him. I hope he stays healthy. Um, and I wish him nothing but the best. Obviously, I want the Tigers to beat him, right? But I am excited to watch him play because he's a very dynamic football player and he's very, very fun to watch. With that being said, the defense has their hands full with him, right? They've got to account for him at all times because he'll just take off. So, you're going to have to put a spy on him. You're going to have to do some different things, which Baker's very creative, I believe, when he does his schemes, especially for these types of quarterbacks. But it does seem like the past few seasons that running quarterbacks always give us trouble. And with our speed, I think they just overrun it a lot, and that's when they get into trouble. They don't stay disciplined, and that's when those big plays pop. So that's what they're going to have to play very disciplined, um, if they want to contain Sellers.
Right. And the one thing that I mention all the time is that I don't understand why everybody goes up top on him. I know he's a big guy, but why they try to grab him by his shoulder pads and stuff. He has such great balance and such great leverage that he'll just duck down and slide out of it. I'm really surprised more people don't attack him thigh level or around the knees to try
Yeah.
to bring him down. Because he and our offense is our offense just plain and simple has not looked good this year. But the one thing is you can count on the unaccounted, which is that LaNorris is going to make a
Yeah.
handful of plays that could be, oh no, 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 oh man, this is amazing type plays. And it's like
Absolutely.
it's rough because going into a game when that's your offensive game plan, it's a hard thing to stomach because you're like, how do I try to say, okay, here's how we're gonna score against this great LSU defense? And
Yeah.
it's like, I believe LaNorris is gonna make a play or two. I just don't know
Yes.
how it's gonna happen. And so because of
Oh,
that, it's a
somebody
brutal.
somebody will do some bonehead thing and whiff on a tackle, and there he goes into the end
Right. Now he's gone down the field, right? I mean,
zone.
and
I'm
so, but
sure
it's
that
just
will happen.
right. It's just hard when you're trying to think of like we haven't ran the ball great this year. Um, Now the one thing that the last couple weeks, Kentucky, for sure, we've at least not gotten away from the run. We're willing to run the ball,
Yeah.
take off 2.5, 3 yards a carry, and at least keep the play calling even. So I am excited to see what that looks like. And I'm definitely excited to see Baker's defense because y'all have the speed. He does bring exotic blitzes.
He does.
And that's probably the best thing to do is to attack Sellers and not let
Yes.
Sellers sit back there, something get through, and then him attack you, but instead be attacking him.
Yeah, you're gonna have to have somebody sitting there though waiting. So, I mean, whoever it is, whether it's a safety coming up or whether it's Weeks or Perkins or whoever. I mean, you really don't want Perkins the one sitting there. You want him loose, right? So, the linebackers they're just gonna have to be disciplined and they're gonna have to stay in their gap because he will take off. And that's how I can see it being, how those plays go down. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I would bring as much pressure as possible, and get him and force you to be one dimensional and throw the ball because we know that we can stop both. We can stop the run, we can stop the pass. Personally, I think our secondary is our strength, which was like the complete opposite last year. Um, so, it's going to be it's a tough it's going to be tough for South Carolina. But again, you never know with LaNorris Sellers.
Yeah, and then Coach I getting in. Perkins seems to have his mojo back. Playing
Yeah.
spy would not be good for him this game. He needs
No.
to be able to rush the passer, and I
Yeah.
completely agree. And that's kind of what, to your point, what you were saying is you want him to see ball, get ball, not
Yes.
just standing back watching the play. You're basically taking him out of the game at that point, and
Yeah.
he's your biggest weapon.
It should be Weeks. Weeks should be the one who's the spy, in my opinion. Either Weeks. I mean, any one of the brothers could fill that role, right? But
Right.
I think I think Weeks should be that person. And he probably will be, or they'll kind of rotate it. But yeah, you want Perkins coming off the edge for sure. You want him in that star, and you got to just let that kid loose. You got to just let him do what he's naturally born to do. In the past they just tried to either overload him or just not he just was not in the right position. And now he is, and he's shining again this year.
Right. And that's going to be, to me, that's the big thing is it's like it looks like he's finally having fun playing football again.
Mhm.
It looks like he's comfortable in his role in this defense,
Yeah.
to where you don't risk throwing him off by having him play spine while you give up something athletically with Weeks. Weeks has been around a long time. He's
Uh-huh.
going to be in the right place, and you trust him to make the kind of tackle he should make to hopefully bring Glendoris down if he's in that position.
Yeah.
Um, what is your jumping? We'll jump back to y'all's offense. Or have you got to see any highlights from South Carolina's star edge and Dylan Stewart? And what are you expecting the offensive line to do against him?
I mean, I love Dylan Stewart. He is an amazing talent, and he's the one guy that you gotta account for, right? So my guess would be is that they'll move a tight end around and make sure he's doubled at all times. I would guess that either from the line or from a tight end assisting and making sure that he doesn't sneak through, which leaves other people, to do the job. But you've got to account for him at all times. It's very similar to Perkins, right? You've always got to account for where he's at on the field. And Stewart is that guy. He's one of those guys you have to account for at all times. So I think that they'll probably have Sharp, because Sharp is a better blocker in my opinion than, and I don't know how healthy Green is still. I mean, he's healthy, but I don't know that he's even like he's not a blocking tight end in my opinion. He's like a go throw the ball up to your 6'7" tight end, wide receiver out there. Um,
Right.
so that would
Well,
be that's my I guess that's kind of what I suspect that they will do.
and the good thing is we don't move Dylan around. He's always going to line up on, if you're looking at the TV, what would be the left side of the line.
Okay,
But
yeah.
it's called from the offense's point of view, it's going to be to the right. So he's always in the same place, which is helpful. You don't have to look around and try to find him. Not that he would be hard to miss at 6'5", 260, but he's very noticeable. But he is the one player in our front seven that could wreck a game.
Uh-huh.
And I believe he's going to have to if South Carolina wants to go in and do something they've only ever done once before, which is win in Baton Rouge. But I believe that he could potentially do it with some of the struggles y'all had on the
Yeah.
O-line. Oh,
Yeah, well, and we've got a new I believe I saw that Kearney, who is a freshman, is starting at right tackle.
so there you go. That'll be the matchup to see, which could
Mhm.
be fun. True freshman against former freshman All-American.
Right.
See what
Yeah.
happens. Oh, let's jump into it. We like to end with predictions. So South Carolina is a 10.5-point underdog currently at LSU. So give me how you think the game's going to play out and give me a score prediction if you got one.
I will go. I really, after the bye, I really think that like giving Nussmeier the time to kind of rest a little bit, although I'm not sure he rested a whole lot, but I would like to think that the offense is going to look a little bit better. And especially against, South Carolina's defense. I'm going to go 28. mm, I'll go 28-14. 28-17. I might do 28-17.
Woo, got you covering. I like it. I like it. So look, they don't call me the stat guy for nothing.
Right.
I will pull out some stats to make myself look like a genius. So
I love it.
This game is being played on October 11th. These two teams have met one previous time on October 11th. It was October 11th in 1930, but the South Carolina Gamecocks came away with the 7-6 win. And so because of that, I believe that South Carolina is going to go to Baton Rouge, just like they did in 1994 when they came away with the 18-17 win. And I believe those are the only two victories in our history against this program. So we're going to keep the trend going. We're going to advance the scores by 11 points again. Give me South Carolina 29, LSU 28. Math is fun. South Carolina Gamecocks with the upset win on the road.
Oh my gosh. Well, I wish you all the best.
I appreciate it. Jamie, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Safe travels to you. Please be safe. Please be safe tailgating. But look, around here, it's always one thing, and that's go Cox. We out of here.
Go Tigers. Thank you.